Hey friends, we've got a new blog out about men's hormonal health and hormone testing for men. So our audience of men is growing as we move into more of a detox business, which is fantastic. Men have hormones just like women, and those hormones can be disrupted by aging, stress, toxins in food and beauty products, and definitely mold. So I'm going to talk more about the mold in a second, but let me get into some signs of hormonal imbalance in men. So unfortunately for men, what makes when your hormones are off, it's often what makes you feel like a man is sort of missing in a sense. So you have less sex drive, you might have erectile issues, you have less muscle mass, just trouble building muscle mass and maintaining it. You may get excess breast tissue, or even just simple things like fatigue. So working with your hormone levels to optimize them can really make a big difference in your image of yourself and your kind of way you show up in the world. So that's some perception, but it's also some biology. So when our hormones are more balanced, we just feel better and we feel more like in our own frame. If you are a man trying to get pregnant, a hormonal issue can also be a problem. So there's issues with sperm quality, and then there's just straight up testosterone, which helps build sperm. So that's a little bit about signs and symptoms. I talked a bit about causes. I want to dive more into mold as a cause. So for myself, when I went through my mold journey, I ran this same Dutch test we're going to talk about. And my hormone levels were just low, like a grandma. And I could also see from that test that my thyroid was something was off with my thyroid. So it's not a thyroid test per se, but it can give you some sense of what your thyroid is doing in one marker. But mostly what it tests for is estrogen, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, melatonin. I would say those are the big players. And then there's some sort of extras too. How well are you breaking down estrogen? That's kind of more than an extra. That's really important, because if you aren't breaking down estrogen well, it can become cancerous, it can recirculate, that kind of a thing. There's also some markers on some vitamins and neurotransmitters and markers of oxidative stress. So it's a really lovely test. It's an at-home test. I'll talk more about in a second. But for mold, again, I had very low hormone levels. It can affect your hypothalamus pituitary. It inflames it, and then it's just not signaling to make enough hormones. So that's what went on for me. But it can go a different way too. Mold can be, some of the mycotoxins are like literally, I don't know if you'd call them estrogenic or that they induce estrogen production, but they have an estrogenic effect, some of the mold toxins. So I think it just depends on your own body and your genetics. Some people will gain a lot of weight and quickly. And then some of the symptoms I mentioned earlier, poor muscle mass, low sex drive, fatigue, that can be related to high estrogen as well. And it's definitely, for the cancer aspect I mentioned earlier, something you want to tame and keep track of, especially if there's estrogenic cancer in your family. So any mold client I have who's dealing with hormonal issues, which are probably going to come up somewhere in the course of your recovery, it's really nice to run this Dutch test to get a sense of what's going on. Outside of mold, which I'm kind of focusing on in this video, just again, aging, stress, just different factors in your life as time goes by, your hormones can be off. You know, as we age, our hormone levels do change, but we want to maximize them for where we're at the age we are at. So we have some sort of, how can I say, over-the-counter hormonal solutions in our shop, as well as herbal solutions, nutrient solutions for balancing hormones. If you do run a Dutch and you want to do hormone replacement, we can recommend a physician for that. But I think it's incredibly valuable. I ran my own Dutch this winter. around March because I was super fatigued and I just hadn't run one in a while. And I actually got on some hormone replacement, got on some glandulars, and I'm feeling really fantastic. So having your hormones where you want them is going to make you feel really good. So we do a lot of work with women's health. We've tested a lot of women, but we are excited to test more men and get you feeling your best. So right now, well, when I make this video, the Dutch is on sale and it's $50 off, and it includes the kit, which is just a small envelope like this. It's really easy to do at home. All the markers I mentioned, and probably some I forgot, and a consultation, a half-an-hour consultation with one of our experts, and then we'll give you a written treatment plan that really details like supplements, food changes, everything to get you on your way to restoring those ideal hormone levels. So thanks so much for watching. You can find out more about testing and the sale below. Thanks, everybody.